Hi guys, Fire Players here and welcome back to another YouTube video on the channel. And today guys, we are going to be doing an AFL video. Alright guys, now the AFL videos probably in February are going to start coming back. I'm going to be starting up coach career probably early March. Again, it's all going to be coming back very soon. It's probably only about a month or so to wait, and then they will be flooding back on this channel. So today, probably kind of front lines that, and today we're going to be going over each team's pre-season. Now, I know that this is not going to be a long video because I don't really want to bore anyone, because this is probably where it could get boring. But we're going to be seeing who your club has in the pre-season. Now, this was actually released on December 19th, so I'm very late to the party, about half a month late. So anyway, today we're going to be talking about the fixture. So each team will be playing a pre-season practice match and then an AAMI Community Series match. Now, these do not affect ladder positions or anything. This is kind of like a who should make that round one. This is kind of your practice. This is kind of your practice, your trial time to get things right. So today we're going to be going over who your club has in the AFL 2022 pre-season. So first of all, the thing that we want to start with is we're going to start with this little chunk of text here. So I'll read it for you guys. Each team can play one pre-season match before the AAMI Community Series on either of the last 2 weekends in February. So what that means is I will probably end up starting very late February for AFL, with clubs deciding on venue, time, date, and the format of each game, including number of players, number of quarters, and quarter length. So if two teams really want to make it funny, say for example North and Gold Coast, if they really want to make it funny, you could make you could change it up really. You could make it really funny, but you'd want to keep this close to as realistic as possible. So today, we're going to be going over the pre-season practice matches first, and we're going to be going over who I think could win and how these matchups will be good. So ignore this bottom part, AFL club membership record smash. Don't worry about that. But today, pre-season practice matches. So we have Essendon versus the Western Bulldogs. Now, also, these will not be played at massive grounds, these pre-season practice matches. They'd be played at smaller grounds. But I think they've gotten pretty much most of these matchups pretty well right. So, Essendon Western Bulldogs, that should be a pretty good game. And I'll make a little bit of a prediction early. I'm going to say Western Bulldogs to win it. I reckon it's going to be a pretty good game, but I do think the Dogs will get the job done quite convincingly by about that 20-30 point margin. I think Essendon will try and hang in there for the first 3 quarters and then come out and run out of gas in the final term. North Melbourne versus Melbourne. This is probably one of them that they got wrong. Now, we have seen before, though, that sometimes North Melbourne lost to Melbourne by about 30 points. So it doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be a big loss to really impact. Doesn't have to be a big loss. It just has to be. It's a loss or a win, but it doesn't have to be a big loss. It doesn't have to be a big loss, but it means you're still getting the job done. But for a North fan, if you lost by 30 points, I think I'd be taken against Melbourne. North Melbourne. That one was pretty easy. I think North will play lead at quarter time, and then they'll just fall out. Sydney vs GWS, this will be a good one, but ahead of the round 1 opener. I'm going to back the Swans. I think the Swans will just do it. I think it'll be very close. Just like the games they've had. They had I think it was 78 to 96, 69 to 71, and 73-74. So that's some really good games. The Giants winning 2 of them, the Swans winning 1 of them, which was the Swans won by the most, and then the Giants held the 2 close games. Carlton St Kilda, that was the opener of the AAMI Community Series last year, so that should be pretty good, I reckon. I reckon that'll be quite evenly matched. Carlton and St Kilda, Collingwood and Hawthorn, another really good matchup. In fact, I've got to tip on Carlton and St Kilda. I reckon I'm going to say St Kilda on that one. Collingwood, Hawthorn. I'm going to say Hawthorn. I just don't think Collingwood will just have enough to do it. But I reckon it's going to be very, very, very close. But I think Hawthorn will just go over the line with Sam Mitchell. I just think they'll do it. I reckon it'll be under 10 points for sure. Geelong Richmond. This is a tough one. This is a really tough one this time. Richmond could come out with any sort of team. I'm going to say Geelong, only just though. Brisbane versus Gold Coast, I'm going to say Brisbane will smash it, no real question there. West Coast Adelaide, now this one kind of depends on where it's played. If you played in Adelaide, it'll be probably, I'd still say West Coast. I'm going to say West Coast. I'm going to say they're going to do it by about 20 odd points. Fremantle versus Port Adelaide. Again, probably a little bit dependent on where they play, but I'm gonna say Port Adelaide. Gonna have to say Port Adelaide. I'm gonna have to say they're gonna do it by about 25 points. Now this is where we get to the fun stuff. The AAMI Community Series. This kind of really frontlines the AFL season. This kind of starts it up. There is a fixture. AAMI Community Series. Carlton versus Melbourne kicks it off. Marvel Stadium. 7:20 Eastern Time. This will be a good one. Now, the reason why I say this will be a good one is because it's the first real season. It's the first real start to the AFL season. It's where the highlights come out and all that as well. So, I'm going to say Melbourne are going to get the job done by about 30 points or 40 points. But, look, it's the opener. It'll be important. Not the opener of the season, the opener of the pre-season. Friday, the 4th of March, we have the Western Bulldogs taking on Brisbane at Marvel Stadium. I don't think I've really seen this matchup before. The Dogs taking on the Lions at Marvel. This I wouldn't say it's a first timer, but I'm gonna say I haven't really seen it a lot. So I'm gonna have to say here that I'm gonna have to say Western Bulldogs, but I'm gonna have to say the Western Bulldogs by about 10 points. Now that we move on to our Saturday games, we have Hawthorn and Richmond at to be confirmed. 1:10 Australian Eastern Time. That should be a pretty good one as well. I reckon both these teams are kind of close, but I do think Richmond should be able to do it by about 20-30 points. And then here we go. We have a showdown here between Adelaide and Port Adelaide at Richmond Oval. 3:40 Australian Central Daylight Time. Look, again, this one can be tough, because I feel like Adelaide will actually rock up to the party, but I'm going to say Port Adelaide. Going to have to tip them by about that 50-60 point margin, just because Adelaide aren't really a good team right now. Essendon and St Kilda Marvel. Ooh, brilliant. This is actually a really good one here. This is probably one of the toughest games to tip on. I'm going to have to say this one's probably been the toughest, but I'm going to say this is the new toughest now. New toughest, I'm going to say Essendon. I reckon this is going to be a really close game, 10 points in it. And I'm going to say Essendon are just going to get the win. Now, Greater Western Sydney versus Collingwood at Giants Stadium. Well, that's a one-sided affair. We all know who's going to win that. GWS. I think they're going to do it by about 30 points. Sydney versus North Melbourne at Giants Stadium. It is a double-header at Giants Stadium on Sunday, March 6th. Make sure that you keep an eye out for that. If you're going to Giants Stadium, you might be able to get yourself 2 tickets and watch both the games. Sydney versus North Melbourne at Giants Stadium. I'm going to say Sydney pretty convincingly. I'm going to say Sydney are going to do it by about 45 points. And then not the final game, but the final game of the Sunday, March the 6th. We have Fremantle versus West Coast, not at Giants Stadium. This time is at Fremantle Oval. Not really sure what that looks like. 4:10 Australian West Standard Time. And I'm gonna say West. Not West Coast. Fremantle will take it out by about 20 points. And then Monday, March the 7th, we have Gold Coast versus Geelong at Metricon Stadium. It's a Monday. It's not like it's really gonna change anything at all. Gold Coast will lose to Geelong. Geelong will win by about 50 points. So that's really it for this, but there you go. That is kind of like your that is it. So there you go. There's the pre-season matches. If you want to take a little bit of a screenshot or a photo, and there is your AAMI Community Series. So make sure that you keep an eye out, AFL fans. Football's coming, and make sure that you subscribe to this channel, because football's coming really soon. Not too long to wait. Cricket Chat shall be coming out tomorrow. Cricket 22 career mode. I'm really going to probably finish that up soon. Internet has not been my strong point right now, so AFL will be coming back very, very soon. So I hope that you guys are excited. But I do hope you guys did enjoy this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you guys will never miss another video on the channel. You guys can let me know what you think these matchups are. I'll go and letter them. I'll go and letter the matchups before we end. So I'm gonna say that is a B matchup. I'm gonna say that is a D matchup. I'm gonna say that's an A, an A, a C, a D, a B, a D, and then for the community series, I'm going to say C, I'm going to say B, I'm going to say B, D, A, I'm going to say C, I'm going to say D, I'm going to say A for that one, and Gold Coast Geelong, I'm going to say big fat D. So, that is going to be it. Now it's time to work on my outro. So, there's going to be plenty more AFL videos coming soon on this channel, alright guys? Going to be setting up an AFL Evolution 2 Coach Career. Going to be doing all that kind of cool stuff. I'm only going to be doing the Coach Career though, but I do hope you guys did enjoy this video. You guys can let me know how good you think these matchups are. And you guys can let them. I do hope you guys did enjoy the video, mate. So leave a like and subscribe. I hate now. Okay, but see you guys will never miss another video on the channel. Thank you guys all so much for watching. So bye guys. Fire plays out.